Hey, folks, this clip is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com and type in promo code VOLS, that's VOLS, at checkout to fill your freezer with enough gourmet food to keep your cookouts going strong into the fall. That is omahasteaks.com, promo code VOLS. Back to the Missouri game. Yeah, to me, this is a bad matchup for Missouri. They can't score the ball. Even if their defense is a little stingy. And I think even Kentucky was a little stingy. They got a few stops against Tennessee, and Tennessee still put 44 up on them. I mean, it just is this offense when you don't have superior athletes like Georgia does, where just you have the dudes that can big time Tennessee like that and blow up the trenches. Georgia won that game in the trenches on both sides. Like Missouri's not, I don't think Missouri is going to do that. They just don't have the guys. Tennessee has the superior talent, definitely the superior coach in this scenario, the superior scheme, the superior, well, they're playing at home. They have the home advantage in this one. It just feels lopsided to me. And I think Tennessee obviously has the motivation now, since the playoff is still a very real possibility. They have the motivation now to lay it pretty thick on Missouri here. So let's predict this game, Zach. I think we both think Tennessee has a pretty good shot to wipe Missouri off the map here. But do you, for your score prediction, do you agree with the assessment we've already made?
Yeah, I don't think that even if Missouri has a really good game plan, I don't think there's another defense in the country that can do what Georgia did to Tennessee. Well, obviously not. I mean, Georgia has the best defense in the country. I don't think there's any debate about that. We can quit talking about all the dudes that went to the NFL, because all the dudes they have now are also going to go to the NFL and be high draft picks. So they've got plenty of talent, and Missouri doesn't. So even if they have a good game plan, it's comparable to that Kentucky game. I do wonder how Tennessee's defense responds and how they play this week, because Tennessee's defense had just kind of started playing better in that Kentucky game. And then they played well in the second half against Georgia, but Georgia's trying to eat clock. There's not as many possessions. That's one of the things that impacts Tennessee's defense, is the other team gets so many possessions. Georgia didn't want to do that. So I wonder how they respond this week against Missouri. I think it's a pretty significant win for Tennessee. I've got them winning 41-20. I think Missouri will hit some things, score some points. Tennessee still, they had some of those plays against Georgia were combination of Georgia having good play calls and good players, and Tennessee also busting some coverages. I mean, you saw Jalen McCullough kind of get turned around. Danico Slaughter got turned around, I think, on one of those plays. So they weren't. It wasn't like Keely Ringo on I think Tillman with that interception, where it's just amazing coverage and their guy beat Tennessee's guy. A couple of those plays were not good coverage by some of Tennessee's defensive backs, and that could be an issue against Missouri. So I think they'll score some points, but 41-20 Tennessee.
I like it. And to anybody that's watching here, almost 200 people in here with us, we appreciate each and every one of you, even the Georgia fans that are hanging out and pissing off Tennessee fans in the comments.
It's the way college football is supposed to be.
It is. It's just fun, all in fun. And if you're not being fun, I will block you. Don't worry. But just leave, if you want to leave your score prediction in the comments, go ahead and do that. I'll read them. A few people already have, and I'm going to read them out after I give my prediction. But thanks to everybody for watching. Fall is in the air, and that means fall grilling with cookouts, tailgate parties, and so much more. Luckily, the flavor experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to savor all the flavors of fall with their mouthwatering assortments of perfectly aged steaks, ultra juicy burgers, and easy to prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. And now is the perfect time to load up on all this incredible flavor and take advantage of 50% off site-wide by shopping their friends and family sale. Go to omahasteaks.com and use my promo code VOLS, that is VOLS, at checkout and get $30 off your order. And guys, I've said it in these ads for weeks now. I've had all of the stuff from Omaha Steaks. I can't endorse it enough. Everything has been high quality. It comes right to your door, so easy and convenient, and I mean, most importantly, tasty. So I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. So don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com and stock up today. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It's the best steak of your life, guaranteed. And don't forget to score that extra $30 off your order when you use VOLS at checkout, VOLS. Omaha Steaks is perfect for those chilly and busy fall nights. You won't come close to getting this kind of quality at the grocery store. Visit omahasteaks.com. Promo code Vols at checkout. Minimum order may be required. Omaha Steaks. We've already said this. The scales are very much tipped in Tennessee's favor. Well, Spencer here even says exactly that. That's kind of funny. I didn't see that comment, and then I noticed it literally says all scales tip towards the Vols against Missouri. So, it just really is in Tennessee's favor here. I think Hooker gets back on the horse here, and has a good game in his senior game. I think this refocuses this team a little bit. At a minimum, I hope it does, but I think it will, because we can say it as much as we want to. Tennessee has done a great job blocking out the noise, either blocking out the noise or embracing the noise. They've done a really good job of just like, hey, we're getting all this hype. Isn't this awesome? Rather than, hey, we're getting all this hype. We're feeling ourselves. I think even still, Tennessee is feeling themselves a little bit, and they just had a very humbling experience. Is what it is. You just you kind of got your teeth kicked in by Georgia, unfortunately, and so I think this recenters them a little bit. I think they come in angry. I think they come in ready, and I don't think that they're going to lose on their last game in Neyland Stadium for the seniors, and the last game in Neyland Stadium for the season. I think they know that they have to get style points to make it to the college football playoff. They can say they block out the noise. They see it all. They know the deal.
And they've been open about that.
And exactly. And that's one of those things where you can embrace the noise rather than trying to block it out. You just say, yeah, we do have to do that, so let's just go out and do it. I think they're going to have that mentality, and it's advantages all over the place for Tennessee here. And I think just it's specifically the motivation. Just Missouri. Then I see people, they were like, well, Missouri wants to avenge that 63 points that Tennessee put on them last year. Well, I'm sure LSU wanted to beat Tennessee too, but Tennessee won 40-13. So, there's a lot of people who've wanted to do a lot of things against Tennessee this season.
Kentucky badly wanted to avenge that loss from last season.
Yes, Kentucky wanted it so bad, and Tennessee beat them by 40. So you can want a lot of things against Tennessee, but I think they're going to come in pissed off. And I think they're going to wax Missouri. I'm going to say 38-10, a 28-point win. I do think Missouri mucks it up a little bit, and they hold Tennessee to 38 points. I mean, it's still relative to most teams in college football, a big point output. But I'll say 38-10, and Missouri just can't. They just can't produce. And so let's look at some of these predictions. John says 56-21. You're giving Missouri a little bit more credit than I did, John.
I mean, look, we've undersold Tennessee on several of their wins this year, so that's certainly possible.
Exactly. I think the defense. I said it. The defense. They kind of got theirs in that Georgia game at certain points. They had timely stops, and they still did a good job against the run in that game.
And look, even I don't care if Georgia is just running the ball and not throwing it. Those offensive linemen are really good. They can push around and dominate the line of scrimmage. They're huge. They're elite. So even stopping Georgia's run is a good thing for Tennessee, because that's a really physical team. I mean, you're not going to play a more physical team than Georgia. Jalen Hyatt I don't know if people noticed that. It kind of flew under the radar, but yeah. Jalen Hyatt said Georgia's way more physical than Alabama.
They absolutely are, and that was apparent in that LSU game later that night.
Yeah.
Too, but like Missouri, kind of their defense is more predicated on the run than the pass. I want to say I looked at that, or at least they're better at running the ball than they are at passing the ball, if nothing else. They average around 150 yards a game, and I think that plays into Tennessee's hands too. So John says 56-21. Brittany says 52-17 for Tennessee. Spencer says 48-17 Tennessee. Michael 56-24 for the Vols. Mr. Jones 63-13 total beatdown. I like that. The Corey says 55-14 Vols. Rodney, who it seemed like is not a Tennessee fan, 41-28 Vols. So appreciate it. Elias 38-14. Tyler 32-12. That's an interesting prediction. I like that.
Field goals for Missouri. There you go.
Yeah, I like it. It's a weird game, but still a big win for Tennessee. And actually, a Georgia fan here, from a Georgia fan, I got Tennessee beating Missouri 48-17. So respect from a Georgia fan in this one. And last one, Larry says 54-10. And last one, John says 62-13. So everybody thinks Tennessee is going to blow out Missouri. I like this. Spencer says of that 32 points, could be 6 safeties, more than 2 field goals.
Tennessee's going to have some explaining to do if they give up 6 safeties. Even though they gave up one to Georgia and they got away with it somehow. If anything in that play, you might have tried to say Hendon Hooker's arm was coming forward, and then that would have been a close call as well. I have no clue how they reviewed that and said it wasn't a safety, but good for, and actually not good for Tennessee, just Georgia threw a touchdown on the very next pass after the punt, so it didn't really work out for Tennessee at all.
I don't know what this comment is. Can y'all talk about Georgia a bit? We did already. Go back and watch the rest of the show. We talked about Georgia plenty. I've had enough of talking about Georgia, frankly.
Yeah, I never want to think about that game again, to be honest.
Yeah, throw it out. I watched it twice now.
It's not fun.
And I am done.
No fun.
Through. No, thank you.
How wild is it, before we go, that Tennessee, if things go to plan, will finish with 1 SEC loss. They will beat Florida, Alabama, LSU on the road, and not win the SEC East. Like, how often does that happen, where you've got an undefeated team in the SEC East and then just a 1-loss team? That's
easily the most frustrating thing out of this entire season. But, assuming Tennessee finishes out, goes 11-1, you can lose, but it's unlikely. The fact that Tennessee is not going to make the SEC championship game, and I go back to that. I hate the divisions. It's stupid. Tennessee should play Georgia in the SEC championship game because that's the 2 best teams in the SEC this year. If they both finish 12-0, 11-1, it's dumb. It's stupid, and frankly, just not fair. And what it created was LSU won that game against Alabama. Tennessee fans were actually happy, and LSU fans, who, let me remind you, LSU lost to Tennessee 40-13 in Baton Rouge, and LSU fans turned around and they were like, well, I'm making my plans to Atlanta. Sorry, Tennessee fans. We're going to the SEC championship game. Shut up. How quickly do you forget that Tennessee whipped you up and down the field for an entire game in your home stadium, and then you beat Alabama, and we are happy for you and happy for us in that scenario. And they turn around. I had multiple LSU fans being like, well, you lost to Georgia and we're going to the SEC championship game. Yeah, because of the rules of the SEC, Tennessee has a better record and beat you. It's that. It just, why do you give them that talking point when it should be Tennessee playing in the SEC championship game? Instead, LSU is going.
If
they win out.
This comment here, Daniels is probably going to have a long day on a December Saturday in Atlanta. They might regret asking for that matchup with Georgia, because if they watch that Tennessee game, they might not feel quite as confident.
Look, we got one right here. Tennessee is home watching the SEC championship game. You mad? I'm mad that that's the rules of the SEC. 40-13. Check that scoreboard, my man. And Tennessee has a far better chance of making the college football playoff, which would be a national championship, not an SEC championship. And I know I would rather win one than the other. And I'll also say this, just judging from how Georgia played on Saturday, I'm going to go out on a limb that's not that long and say that Tennessee is going to win just as many SEC championships game this season as LSU is.
Yeah, probably so.
Gonna be a big fat 0 on that one for LSU SEC championships this year. So, that's it.